Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. This is the Greenfirm team, and today I have all the girls with me today, so I will go straight for them to introduce themselves, and yeah, we can proceed to the video. Whoever wants to start.
Hi, this is Edith once again. It's a pleasure to meet you all on this video and looking forward to the discussion that we're gonna have.
Hi everyone, it's Kaso here. Gang.
Hey, here is Rebekah. Well, anyway, I'm really excited for the discussion today.
Cool, thank you guys. So welcome again, viewers, Green Tribe, loyal viewers. We're very grateful that you're here with us to see our video. So today we're going to discuss something that's interesting, and we're really looking forward to seeing your views. So if you can put a comment in there when you see something or hear something you want to participate in, just comment and let us know what you think. So yeah, so the conversation today is around a green lifestyle, or they call it sustainable lifestyle, minimalistic lifestyle, all those things. And we're curious, and I'm going to ask my fellow ladies here, like, what do you think about it? Like, do you think it's something achievable? What do you do in terms of that kind of lifestyle? Like, tell me. Yeah. Kaso can start. Whoever wants to start, go ahead.
Yeah, for sure, it's really achievable, and it's a step-by-step process. You can't go all the way, to be extremely sustainable, because some things you still need to use, you still need to do, and we won't term them as sustainable. So I believe like the small steps count to the bigger picture. So personally, maybe I'd say that I'm a big recycler. You can see me sitting down cutting Coca-Cola bottles, or everyone is just like, now what's wrong with this human being? So yeah, I use them. Let's if I want to store my makeup brushes, if I want to store my combs, if I want to store just anything that I can put on, let's say like my dresser, So yeah, it's the small things that make the big difference. So I believe it's achievable actually.
Awesome. And picking up from where you were at, I also believe in the small things that you can do in order to make a huge difference for the environment, for generations to come even. So for me, it's just, lights off when there's natural lighting, when you don't need to have lights on, have them off. Close all the taps, don't let taps leak or run, when it's not necessary. Take faster showers just so that you don't waste so much water, and don't let the shower run too long before you jump in there. Really little small things, but that make a difference, because it takes energy to pump this water into our homes, and then we let it run. It makes no sense, absolutely, especially when rivers are drying up, lakes are too salty for our own liking. We have too little fresh water on this planet. So we really need to start rethinking our habits, and think about children, generations for future. This sustainability lifestyle is no longer just fashionable, it's a need. It's necessary that we go this way. Yeah, thanks.
So I'll pick up from where Edith has left. Well, excuse me, today I have my lights are on, so I hope no one will crucify me at the comments, but you feel free. I think we are on different locations, so my house doesn't have natural lighting, and actually it gets to, it goes into now the things about planning, the little things. For example, if you're building your house, I would say, well, when I eventually get there, I would love my house to have, a lot of natural lighting as much as possible, from my rooms to my kitchen. I just, the thing is, when you rent, sometimes you have to go according to budget. But now, for example, if you're staying in a house that does not have natural lighting, this is something that you would consider not renting that house or getting into that house because that would eat into your electricity. You know, those are the choices that we have to make on a daily basis. So for me, I would say growing up, we didn't have like the word sustainability per se, because we used to make a lot of, we had austerity measure seasons, you know, like that is on where you know, like, okay, today we are going to be on a plant-based meal. And, you know, you, as a child, you'll be thinking, why are you not having this? Why are you not having this? In that place, we didn't have any other option. But right now, as an adult, I really appreciate, because it's inculcated in me the culture of being very mindful of what I eat, because now I know that having the fast foods every day or going out every day, apart from just saving my budget, for if I choose not to go and eat my own meal, it kind of helps me to avoid food waste and also try to avoid having a meal that would cost me so much, not only financially, but also cost me so much in terms of the waste in the air. You know, like when you buy your fries, before we used to do fries and they were packed in the plastic bags, you know, I used to get really irritated. But then I think at some point, I remember an occasion where when I went to the restaurant, I actually carried like a container, you know, before even the plastic bag was there. I went down and I was like, could you put my fries there? Or I would choose either to eat in that place so that I don't have to put my, you know, my fries on the plastic bag. But thank God that is behind us. Nowadays they try to use, you know, more recyclable, what do you call them, wrappings. So it's a plus for us, and I think we're on the right path. So I think for me, I would say what sticks out is consuming. What are we all constantly consuming? And that will add up to the sustainability conversation. Over to you,
Thank you,
Victoria.
ladies. Yeah, thank you guys. That's quite interesting, and I feel like the theme that's all around that's going around is that sustainable living isn't like I wake up today and I'm going full blown sustainable living where I'm using metal straws, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. It's more of a step by step thing, and sometimes you might find yourself having a sustainable lifestyle, but you actually not even you don't even know it or have located that you're doing that. Just like Rebekah was saying, that you're eating plant-based food. Like in our home, there's this where you don't waste food when you're eating food. So if you're gonna put food on your plate, you better finish that food. It's something as simple as that, and that's sustainable living, because you're like Rebekah mentioned, like you're reducing food waste, and just going back to Kahaso and Edith around just recycling, minimizing consumption as well, like in terms of how you waste water, what, you know, showers, whatever. Those are like things that people have access to, which, you know, it's something to think about. Like you might look into your life right now and you're like, actually I have been doing this sustainable lifestyle kind of thing and I haven't even been noticing or tracking it down. That's really cool to see that everyone can actually do this. But then I go straight into the controversial part. And do we feel like sustainable living is a privilege to some and a task to many? So it would be nice to hear from each other, like, how do you feel about that? Because most people say it's a privilege. So it would be nice to know. Yeah.
Can I start? I don't know, because as much as we want to debate about it, I think we have this mentality, many of us, if you are living on a plant-based meal because that was the only thing available, you have this sense that when I get my, you know, my first 1M, I'm gonna spoil myself with a entire amount of fast foods, you know, and it appears like, yeah, I'm gonna live big and all that. But when you look at it, as in 10 years down the line, you have other, you know, lifestyle diseases that crop in. So at that time, maybe because you were living on a very humble state, you could only eat plant-based, it might seem as though you are not privileged. But if we looked at, you know, the choices that we have to make because of where we are as not only helping us, you know, that's not just because I have the money, I can do whatever I want. Even when you don't have the money, you know, you realize like, okay, I can cut down on this. So we shouldn't look at it as, oh, I'm suffering. I think we always associate, especially people when they hear like, oh, why are you only eating burgers? You know, especially it's something that we used to hear when you're growing up. And then the kids would laugh at you and you're thinking, dude. But my mom, okay, I put my mom there. I didn't want to mention her, but anyway, she made it very easy for us. Initially, we didn't like it, but now for like my sisters and I and my brothers, we have slowly loved that part because we now see, the benefits health-wise and all. So yeah, it's just a question of where you're seeing, like, what's your view on your kind of lifestyle? Is it your choice? And if it's not your choice, what can you do to make it better?
Well, so picking up from where you were at, Rebecca, I would say that going green can be challenging, okay? It's something that's new. I mean, the concept of sustainability is not very old. It just started around 1970. We are still sort of getting used to it. Every new day we encounter a new challenge that shows us that sustainable living is really the way to go. For example, right now we are facing, climate change crisis, and as we look at our planet slowly changing, and as we look at our systems, our economic systems needing to adapt, we sort of get to a place where we have to find a good balance, and it's hard to achieve that. But in this new world, or in this new day and age, it's possible, okay? Because this concept of sustainability, it brings about innovation. So Rukia mentioned metal straws. For a long time, plastic straws were all we knew, yeah? So if you tell me to buy a metal straw at I don't know how much, because I will have the pleasure of washing it, when I could, throw a plastic straw, it will sort of get, it sort of takes time to get there. But the benefits outweigh, the risk. It's possible for us to go there. So I think, yes, there's a challenge, but it's also bringing up innovation. For the companies that make metal straws, it's bringing up opportunities for wealth creation. So I do think that while it could be challenging, it's a challenge that is worth the, it's worth the risk. So yes, I would still say it's acceptable, it's doable, and I would encourage anyone to hop onto this journey. Again, to come back to the aspect of privilege, sustainable materials may be a little more costly, but it's also because, the aspect of production has taken into account, numerous uses. So it's not just one use. So yes, it may be expensive in the initial run, but it saves so much cost as you go along. So it's something that is worth thinking about, actually. If you, really sat down to think about it, it's worth undertaking. And I would really like to find out what the rest of the team thinks, because I would think that while the initial cost of production is higher, which makes the cost of, the cost at which you buy higher, my assumption, my hypothesis is that it saves you a lot more money down the road, because you are able to have a lot more uses with this one thing, rather than single use all the time. And also, you are also able to honor whatever it is you've bought, because you know that it's with you for a long time, for a long time. So yeah, I don't know what the rest of the team thinks, but that's my submission.
Thank you,
I totally
Edith.
agree with what, totally agree with what Edith and Becky said. Like, it's both a challenge and it's both, as in, you just have to sit down and think, because like Edith said, if let's say, like you say, let's say like a menstrual cup, it's one of a sustainable way to go. But you sit down and you hear it's like 3,000 shillings, and you buy pads for what, 90 bob, but no one like thinks like you buy pads every month for 90 bob, and you'll buy this menstrual cup once, and it will take you for like 10 years. I was actually trying to convince someone the other day, like, hey, this is a good investment. But yeah, I think when you sit down, it falls on both sides. It can be really challenging, because if you look at the cost wise, and it's something you purchase at once, and it's a lot of money. But also, like, it's the way to go. In the long run, you'll just find out later, like you use less money, or you are making the world a better place. Let me just say that.
Yeah. Thank you, Kahaso. Yeah. Rebecca, do you want to come in? Or are you good?
I think for me, I think what I'm hearing is, apart from it, trying to make it accessible, like in terms of sustainable products and services. If it's matters of food, fashion, for example, we all buy, I don't know how many clothes in a year. So apart from just having that mentality that this is going to help me in the long run, I think it also speaks a lot about planning, because many of us are in the now, you know, like I need the nini now. What if I delayed my enjoyment of a certain product until I'm able to afford it, and then I'll be able to purchase it? Because that's, for now, that's kind of like the route. Because the other thing we know that, as Edith mentioned, some of these things are not accessible in terms of financially. They might be quite costly. But I would rather buy a product that is expensive, or maybe it will cost me some bucks or some cash, but it will be, you know, I'll use it for a very long time. I can even do a hand me down to my, you know, my sisters, or to the ladies here, panelists, when they come to my place, they're like, oh, you know, I can easily give it to you because it's very good and durable. So yeah, so I think I just wanted to mention that.
Thanks, Becky. And yeah, I like that there are several themes that were going around, like as our team was speaking. There's a theme around information access. Like people perceive, like, if I buy this product, it's expensive, and it's expensive for nothing. But like Hasso mentioned, like if you look at the long-term perspective, short-term, it could be expensive, but long-term, you're doing two things. It's saving you moolah, and also it's like you're actually contributing on the bigger picture in terms of just saving the planet. And just like Edith spoke around just the climate crisis that's coming through, and how sustainable living is no longer the trend that someone wants to take a selfie and say, hey, I'm living sustainably and whatnot. It's actually now more of a need, and most of us really need to shift how we consume, reduction, recycling. That is it the 4 R's or is it the 3 R's? How do they say it? Is it 4 or 3? It's reduce, reuse, recycle, and I don't know that the fourth one. I don't know which one to choose. Maybe you should let us know in the comment section which one is it 4, is it 3, and what are those 4 or 3. And it's interesting that the information sharing is something that's crucial for everyone, just people to understand that. And I like what Becky said around just culture and perception, that if you eat green, wewe maisha yako tu iko tu wewe leo umekosa pesa ya kula. Because obviously, when I go to the supermarket, napata mabenda is okra, and it's like I get like 50 shillings, and it's like a lot. And every time I buy it, I'm like surprised. I'm like, why are people saying we can't eat? And there's like so much food. And then unakula na ugali, and the day goes, you understand? When I go to Mombasa, we have sweet papa, but it's shak. So they sun-dry it and whatnot. Shak, tomato, you understand? And ugali, and you're good, and life moves on, you understand? But then I like what Rebecca said, like the more money you get, you're like, you're KFC. I can't wait for you to get it. Nikipata hii pesa nini. So that's when it comes to like, is it really privileged to be sustainable? Am I just a perception in our heads we've thought about it, like, yeah, maybe if I eat veggies now, I kind of like, I'm not, you understand? But it's actually cheaper for you to be sustainable. You know, it's like around, every time we're speaking, it's coming back to cost and just information. Like if you calculate it all, it still comes down to like less cost for you, but also a bigger picture where you contributing to the bigger picture about sustainability, the climate crisis, the water crisis, and more. So this is really nice to hear from you guys. And then this is a good segue, because everyone was speaking around like just starting small, but then there's also the angle where buying sustainable products is also another angle as to where you can be pushing the sustainable living or lifestyle kind of agenda. And we were speaking around metal straws, menstrual cups. So this is something else that we're speaking. And I think, Edith, did you want to come in for a second?
Yeah, thanks, Rukia. just before we go towards responsible sourcing and purchase of goods, I wanted to just say that, you know, the pillars of sustainability are closely tied to what we've just discussed. So there's the social aspect, there's the economic aspect, and then there's the environmental aspect. So while we could have the environmental aspect as, you know, the bigger picture, the social aspect is, you know, really comes through in the sense that, you know, if you subscribe to this sustainable living lifestyle, then you are most likely to, you know, use products or get into habits that are non-toxic. You know, you're using products that are not toxic for you, and so your health, perhaps, you know, you're getting a better quality of health, and therefore it sort of impacts your social life. And then in terms of the economic, yes, it may be a bit more expensive in the, you know, in the initial run, but in the long run, you know, you end up saving a bit of money. So I think it's always good to really remember it's like a triangle with the three pillars. Those are the pillars that sort of guide our sustainable choices. I just wanted to come in and say that because I think it's really important to ground our discussion in that one. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Most definitely. And I love that how the pillar keeps changing. And also there's like the version where they put the environment at the center and all the social economic coming in, and there's like circles, and you feel like every piece comes in and just ties into the whole, their contribution into the environment. And I think we've said this before, that environmental sustainability isn't about just one thing. It's all interconnected. Like every person doing anything somehow contributes in one way or another to sustainability. It could come from people who are selling cars. Now they're shifting to electric. You see, that's a contribution to them to the whole climate crisis situation. It could be around banking. Bankers are producing, making sure that there's microfinance to support farmers and whatnot. So that's building on the food security perspective, making easy and stuff like that. So it's like just adding on to what Edith's saying and plusing her point that we are all playing a very big role, and it's not like a standalone situation. Like whether you're the farmer at the bottom of the value chain where you're producing food, or you're the consumer at the end of the value chain, or the producer in the middle, there's something that everyone is doing, and we all need to like really assess our role in the environment and our ecological footprint as we move forward. And I'll just like quote Edith's enormous like point around like it's a need now, like it's getting more and more and more of a need to be sustainable as well. And just going back to the product conversation, so I know like there's the small things we can do, recycle, turn off the lights and whatnot, but then there's what Rebekah, Kahaso, and Edith are speaking around, purchasing just like sustainable products that are making you either reduce waste or reduce consumption of fossil fuels and stuff like that. And we did a campaign as Greenfirm on our Instagram page, on our social media. So please just check it out. You'll see the social media links on the video once we're done. So the campaign really highlighted a couple of businesses that are really taking the sustainable lifestyle forward and making it accessible. And if you reach out to them, you can get some insight as to the products, and you might also actually get a space to even ask questions around those products as well. And I guess I'll leave it to us to just speak around those products. And if there are any other products you guys as our audience know about, or people who do amazing work around sustainable lifestyle, please just put it on the comment section so we can check them out and really promote their work. So I'll leave it to I'll go to Kahaso. You mentioned menstrual cups. Tell us more about that and what we covered on the campaign.
Okay. So to be honest, I hadn't heard about the cups until we did our campaign. Funny enough. So yeah, the Grace Cup, right? I think the Grace Cup. Yeah. So follow them on Instagram. They are really doing great things, and I am seriously going to purchase mine this month. No joke. I'll show you guys. Anyway, So yeah, it's a lady who started a company about menstrual cups, which can, I think, last for 10 years. Personally, I'd say I'd advise people to embrace such in your products, because if you can use one item for 10 years and, instead of buying the regular pads we use every day, we dispose them after the one use. They also sell reusable pads if you're not comfortable with the menstrual cup. So yeah, I'd urge the viewers to go and check them out and try something new.
Thanks, Kaha. So any other products that we saw or we want to just give like a shout out to? And also just remember, we'll put a link at the bottom of whatever Edith, Rebekah, myself, and Kahas will be mentioning. Yeah. Edith?
Yes, so I guess shout out to E254 Group. First of all, I like their name. That's, when you say E, it's more like environmental, sustainable, the way you say e-waste or things like that. Yeah, so, and then E254, bringing the sustainable to Kenya. Love it. So they are a group that sort of provides alternative packaging, towards alternatives to plastic. So they have all of these very reusable packaging, bags and things like that. And they have worked with some of the biggest brands in Kenya to provide them with packaging. And what I also like about the company is that they were among the people that advocated for the banning of single-use plastics. And we've seen how it has impacted our countries. If you have ever, walked through, area, I would just say, of course, Kenya looks cleaner, much cleaner without the plastics. Without going into a lot of details, I think Kenya looks much, much cleaner without the plastics. Yeah. So shout out to E254 Group.
Yeah, I loved the ones that did the plants, because I want to be a plant parent one day. Or rather, I am already. I take care of a number of flowers and trees back at home. So I don't know if they're called greeting. I was trying to look up the name. I've forgotten the name. So this is very, very unprofessional of me not to know their name. Yet I love them so much. Hopefully, we shall put a description of the companies on our just can check them out as well. So I love that because, as much as we're talking about a need, I think it's actually fashionable. It is nice. It feels nice to be able to support such businesses. For example, I saw a post one time talking about social distancing in this period. So they were saying, like, advocating for restaurants instead of having those very boring bars that, really push people away and it feels very plastic and abstract. You could have like pots, like huge flower pots or plants, just to create that social distancing. It's already pretty, it's refreshing. And I don't know if it's just me, but most of us, whenever you're in tune with nature, or if you just have, you might living in a very concrete jungle, karibu nijiuze penye nimetoka, but but like in the urban setup right now, you may look around. For example, look around in Embakasi, where most of us come from. Well, a huge population of Nairobians stay in Embakasi, constituency. There's hardly a tree in sight in most of our estates and plots. But if you, as a plot, decided to have like 2 plants at the entrance of your gate, or in your houses, you decided to have like, either a flower pot somewhere, or creative ways. I've seen like people using old tires and just do like an urban garden. Those are very small ways that we can actually make our lifestyle really better, because it doesn't really necessarily have to be, I think we are always on a survival mode, most of us. But if you choose to make a good choice every single day, you realize that you're thriving in whichever capacity you're in, having a flower pot, having a garden that you're taking care of, being able to eat your own danias and kitungus. You just picked it up from the kitchen. Yes, maybe you started because it was a cheap option. You could not afford the kitungus in the market, but eventually it feels nice to be able to see your own things. You're eating your own things and you're growing them and you're nurturing them, and you can even share with other people. So yeah. Over to you.
Thanks. Thanks, Rebekah. And yeah, so I guess things to remember sustainability equals saving cost, it equals health, good health, it equals the bigger picture, whereas it's just fighting and just protecting the environmental space, and also just contributing to reducing the climate crisis. That's because, like, as we know, we are in the climate decade. We only have 10 years from 2020 to 2030 to just make a huge difference in terms of the climate situation that we're in. And it feels like every single day there's something new that's coming up in the climate crisis department. I think last year was the Amazon. Last month was is it this month? That was the Mauritian situation where there was the oil spill in the whole. That I know you know we see those places on bonfire ventures are like, hey, go to Mauritius and whatnot, and you see such a beautiful space being like violated by just people who are using fossil fuels still. And we can't deny that the demand for non-sustainable living is still there, and it's a one step at a time kind of process. So yeah, so check it out. Like on the description box, we'll put in the links as Rebekah mentioned, and you'll see more of those businesses. But most importantly, we'd love to hear from you. Maybe you are a business owner who's actually doing sustainable living as well. We'd love to hear from you as well. And also, if you have friends who do that kind of business, let us know, hit us up. We'll give them a shout out on our social media pages, and also we might as well even buy, like Kahasa mentioned. So yeah, and just think I finally got the metal straws. So when you ladies finally meet us, you know, the social distancing thing is crazy. When you meet me, you get your own metal straw from me and we can review it together. We can maybe have a nice drink together and enjoy metal straws and a nice milkshake. So yeah, with that, I'd love to end our video. Please like us, subscribe, share, comment, interact with us as much as we can. We'd love to hear from you. And yeah, thank you for being here. Bye. Maybe the team can come off and say bye. I'm just hearing seeing waves.
Kwaheri.
Bye, guys.